Hey, Keggers here, and it's time for the Game Awards. And I thought, hey, before this thing pops off, I'll put out my thoughts on the nominees for Game of the Year. Well, we're going to get started with Alan Wake 2. Now, I was a big fan of the first Alan Wake. I love the whole Stephen King inspired horror. I love the idea of using light. A bit like that failed Alone in the Dark game that they did, but this thing actually worked. And they continued the whole franchise with Control, and then they actually came out with a sequel to a game I thought would never get a sequel other than that mini game they'd put out before. But yeah, Alan Wake 2, great graphics, spooky story, great atmosphere. Bit surprised nominee for Game of the Year. In fact, you're gonna have that in a lot of these where they're good games, but I'm kind of surprised they got nominated. But yeah, Alan Wake 2, I'd say that's sort of low in the rankings of likely to win. If it does, I'll be surprised. And that brings us to Resident Evil 4. Now, I know, strange opinion, I was not actually a fan of Resident Evil 4 because that was the move of the franchise to a more action focused, away from like the survival horror of 1 and 2. Yeah, I know 3 was more action, but 3 is sort of like an outlier. They had Code Veronica, but 4 was really just went off the rails into the realm of action away from horror. You cannot deny that this thing revolutionized the franchise and revolutionized the genre, and it's one of the most beloved games of all time. So, of course, a remake with better graphics, with a lot of the improvements that they made for Resident Evil 2 Remake, some changes to story, and once again, looking amazing, is going to be beloved. This one, because of the pedigree for Resident Evil, stands a much higher chance of winning, but I'd give this. We'll come back to it. All right. Then we get to Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4, everybody loves, because everybody loves Spider-Man, and that's. Yes, you feel like Spider-Man playing it. It also had one of the greatest Spider-Man stories, was one of the greatest Spider-Man story endings I've seen in years. Better than most of the movies, better than a lot of the recent comics. And with this one, with 2 Spider-Men, great game. Gameplay's good, story's good, characters are good. It's a great game, and that's rather high up, I think. One of the most likely ones to win. Pete, Miles, Venom, all that stuff. Great game. Mario Brothers Wonder. It's a Mario game. It is the first real change in the 2D formula since the New Super Mario Brothers that they started way back on the Nintendo DS. That they finally are doing a new 2D style. Great. It's trippy, it's fun, it's got a lot of interesting power-ups, it's got a playable Daisy for the first time in like actual non-sports gameplay. So yeah, for that alone it should win. I'm gonna say it's not, but not because it's lacking anything. It is just a good Mario game, and that's sometimes enough, but not enough to win this. Another Nintendo game which is amazing but it's not gonna win is Tears of the Kingdom, which is a glorified map pack update for Breath of the Wild. Looks good, just like the other one. They move the world forward. The idea of them actually dealing with the end of the previous Zelda game and just going on from there, something they haven't done since the Wind Waker games, I would say. From Wind Waker to Phantom Hourglass. And I do like that. I do like that it makes the world growing and developing, and I kind of would like if the next Zelda game would also continue from this. I mean, yeah, I do like every Zelda being non-connected, completely new stuff, completely new time, but this is a world I think they could expand upon more. It's not gonna win though. What is going to win is Baldur's Gate 3. Obviously, it is the game everybody's been talking about. It's the game everybody's been playing. As a big D&D fan, seeing more people get into the hobby through this game, it's great. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. They'd been working on this game for a long time. It's from a smaller studio. Larian's worked wonders with this thing. You can say it came out this year, even though it came out quite a while ago. They've just been working on it. For those people who have been like seeing this thing develop over all this time, yeah, this game is going to win. This game deserves to win, and I would be highly surprised if this game does not win. So you hear it from me, Baldur's Gate 3, it's probably going to win. If you disagree, or if you're watching this after the Game Awards, tell me how wrong I was. Well, until then, until the Game Awards, I'm Keckers, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.